Hello and welcome. Okay, so you're on the hunt for a new car. You've probably already slammed into that first major roadblock. Should you lease it or should you buy it? It is a huge financial question. And today, we're going to break down absolutely everything you need to know to make the right choice for you. So picture this. You've done the research, you've taken the test drives, and you have picked out the perfect car. That's the fun part, right? But now comes the real head scratcher. What is the absolute smartest way to actually pay for this thing? You can think of it like a fork in the road. One path is leasing, the other is buying. And trust me, each one leads to a very different destination when it comes to your money, your sense of ownership, and your freedom. So let's start by figuring out what each one actually means. Okay, first up, leasing. Honestly, the simplest way to get your head around a lease is to think of it as a long-term rental. That's it. You're not paying to own the car. You're just paying a fee to use it for a set amount of time, usually, 2 to 4 years. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got buying. This one's pretty straightforward, right? You're paying for ownership. Doesn't matter if you use cash or a loan, every single payment you make builds something called equity. And equity is just the fancy word for the part of the car you truly own free and clear. All right, let's go down that first path for a bit and really get into what leasing is all about, because it has some very, very tempting advantages, but it also comes with some pretty big trade-offs that you absolutely need to be aware of. The appeal of leasing is pretty instant, and it's mostly about the money. We're talking lower monthly payments and, a lot of the time, little to no money down. Plus, let's be honest, there's that amazing feeling of driving a brand new car every few years. And repairs? Usually covered by the warranty. Best of all, at the end, you just hand the keys back. No headache of trying to sell it yourself. But, and this is a big but, there are some serious trade-offs. The number one thing to remember is that those lower payments build zero ownership. You're just renting. You'll also have really strict mileage limits, and if you go over, you pay for every single mile. You can't customize it, and trying to end the lease early? Oof, that can come with some seriously hefty penalties. Okay, let's back up to that fork in the road and check out the other path, buying. This is the good old-fashioned route, and it's all about ownership and long-term value. So the huge win here is ownership. That car is your asset. Every single payment brings you one step closer to owning it completely. You can drive it across the country and back, no mileage caps to worry about. You want to paint it purple, upgrade the stereo? Go for it. There's a powerful sense of freedom in that. And maybe the best part of all, once that loan is paid off, the car is yours. No more monthly payments. Imagine that. Of course, all that freedom comes at a price. Buying almost always means higher monthly payments and a bigger down payment, and as soon as that warranty runs out, guess what? Every single maintenance and repair bill is on you. And then there's the big one, depreciation. Your car starts losing value the literal second you drive it off the lots. And that loss of value is very, very real. According to AAA, the average new car loses about this much in value every single year for the first 5 years. That is a massive hidden cost of ownership to keep in mind. Okay, so we've walked down both paths. Now it's time to bring them side by side. This is where you can really start to see which one lines up better with your bank account and, your lifestyle. When you boil it all down, the choice is basically this. Leasing is paying to drive the car, while buying is paying to own the car. Leasing saves you cash in the short term, but it gives you less freedom and you're left with nothing at the end. Buying costs more upfront, but it gives you total freedom and an asset you can sell or trade later on. And here's a more detailed breakdown. This table just makes the trade-offs crystal clear. Just look at the rows: ownership, upfront cost, monthly cost. You can see the pattern, right? Leasing is all about those lower short-term costs and convenience, while buying is about building that equity and having total control. So, which column is speaking to you right now? So let's say you've weighed all the options and you're leaning toward buying. That's great, but it is so important to have a game plan. You can't just walk into a dealership unprepared. Following a few key steps can save you a ton of money and a lot of headaches. Here are 4 super important steps. First, and this is the most critical one, set a realistic budget. Second, choose a car that fits your actual needs, not just your wants. Third, do your homework on the fair market price so you can negotiate like a pro. And finally, when it's time to sign, read every single word of that paperwork. Seriously. And speaking of that first step, budgeting, Here is a fantastic rule of thumb from the experts. Try to spend no more than 10 to 15% of your monthly take-home pay on all your car costs. And that's not just the loan payment. That includes insurance, gas, and maintenance. It's a great guideline to keep your finances from going off the rails. Now, quick detour. If you're thinking of buying a used car to save some money, which is a great idea, these two checks are completely non-negotiable. A vehicle history report tells you the car's secret past, any accidents, any title problems. And a pre-purchase inspection by a mechanic you trust can uncover hidden nightmares that could cost you thousands later. Do not skip these. So we have covered a lot of ground here. We've looked at the pros, the cons, the costs, and the game plan. Now it's time to bring it all together and figure out how you make that final call. And this quote right here, it just says it all. There is no single best answer that works for everybody. One person might absolutely love the low cost and predictability of leasing, while their next-door neighbor might value the freedom and long-term ownership of buying. The right path is the one that actually fits your life. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. Take a second and really think about it. What do you value more right now? Is it the immediate relief of lower monthly payments, or is it the long-term freedom and equity that comes with ownership? Your answer to that question will point you down the right road. Thanks for joining this explainer, and happy driving.